Herb, let's start with you, my friend. Best and worst from today. I've got your notes here, but you look like you're in deep thought. You might want to change them up.
I forgot what my best was. I can remember what my...
Well, your best was going to be an homage to Adam Hogue.
Got it,
Since you're our resident Hogue today.
In honor of Adam Hogue, but also just in the reality of who Tory Taylor is, I thought he was my best today. You guys had already made your picks, and rightfully so, but I thought Tory Taylor did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
We saw Caleb be who we thought he is. Tory Taylor is also who we thought he was too, right? He came out there, couple punts. The first one, he pins it down to the 5-yard line in the corner. We've got all of our coverage team down there. Somehow they let the returner slip out of there and actually get a decent return. But that's not on Tory. There was plenty of hang time, and the placement was perfect. It was at the 5-yard line. It was on the sideline. They had him pinned. They let him out, but he did his job on that. Then he comes back on the next punt, drops it down right out of bounds at the 10-yard line. The kid is a weapon. There's no other way around it. Teams are going to have to go 90, 95 yards consistently against the Bears defense all year long, and that's got to make Flus, Coach Washington, and the rest of that defense really, really happy. Good on Tory Taylor for being exactly who we've seen him be throughout the summer.
So Tory was like, all right, fine. Y'all don't want to cover my kicks. I'll just do it myself.
No problem. Y'all going to get down there? Cool. I'll drop it out of bounds right at the 10.
And Total Anarchy TV, I saw you earlier in the chat, and I'm seeing you again. I will, I guess, fess up here that all I said was that I wanted the Bears to draft because
the chat's coming for our heads. They're like,
that's fine.
Apologize, Carm, for your Tory take. Apologize, Herb, for your Fields love. Apologize, Greg, for overhyping Justin last preseason. Look. We're sorry, all right? We're not perfect.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Not sorry.
I'm not sorry either. But I'm not saying that. I never said the dude couldn't punt the ball.
I'm not going to apologize because y'all can't comprehend nuance. So I'm not doing that.
So, but listen, hey, I will eat if you want to put it like that, Total Anarchy, that's cool. I'll eat every word as that dude punts the ball. I thought that thing landed like in the stands. Apparently it did land somewhere on the side. That was a moonshot. And Tory, by the way, Tory's been on the show. We love Tory.
It might have landed in the stands, but it went out of bounds at the 10. He's just that kind of good, man.
Yeah. All right. So shout out to Tory Taylor.
Yep.
Shout out to you, Adam Hogue. Who's your worst?
My worst, unfortunately, is I got to go with Javon Dexter, man. I've been watching him all summer. He is such a huge piece to what this defense and ultimately what this team wants to be. If he is a dominant difference-making 3 technique, like we said earlier, this defense could be great. Like, not just good, they could be great. If he's just a guy, they'll be good anyway, but if he's a dominant difference maker, they will be great. I expect to see him make some plays today, play with great pad level, play with great discipline, fire off the ball. Too often I saw him standing straight up, getting blocked one-on-one. He did make one play where he was able to hold up the guy, penetrate, and stuff the running back in the backfield. But I need to see that consistently from him. Didn't happen for him today. Not to say it's not going to happen. Not to say that I've lost any kind of hope or faith or belief in him. I think he can still be that dude. He just was not that dude today. He's got to play with better pad level. He's got to fire off the ball, and he cannot be blocked one-on-one as often as he was today.
You would know this better than me, maybe you too, Gregory, but, I mean, can you name someone, and I'm rooting for Javon Dexter Sr. huge because he's a great dude, and physically he's transformed his body. He's obviously working at it, but I saw the same stuff watching him today. Dude straight up, and just it's just not going to work. So, and he's also was coming out of college as a dude coming out of Florida that did not get off the ball well, and there was all these excuses around it. But if you don't have that, to me, I've always thought, kind of hard to learn. Like, that is an instinctual boom. So I don't know if you can name anyone where, well, he started a little bit slow, but then it clicked.
Figure it out later.
Yeah.
No, that's real. And I'm inclined to agree with you, except I've seen him do it, right?
Okay.
He shows it in flashes. You see him play with great pad level. You see him get off the ball. You see him explode into the backfield. We've seen him do it at training camp. I've seen him do it a few times in the games. Last 5 weeks of the season, he comes on, gets 2.5 sacks last year. I've seen him do it. Sir, I need you to do it every time. I know it's more difficult for you because you're 6'6". I get it. I'm not saying this is an easy task. You're not Aaron Donald. You're 6'1". You're not John Randall or Warren Sapp. These are shorter guys. You are 6'6". I understand it's more difficult for you. But that's on you, bro. Nobody told you to be 6'6".
Yep.
Get your ass down here, play with good pad level, and get off the ball. He could dominate if he does.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking for a comparison, just trying to find one for you, I think the best one might be, or the closest one, not an exact comparison, but I talk to him every Tuesday, Corey Wooten, and a couple years into his career, he wasn't where he wanted to be. And pad level is always an issue for guys that are as tall as Corey and Javon. And Rod Marinelli kind of gave him a little pep talk going into 1 year. He's told the story many times with us on After Dark. And he eventually started to figure it out and become a really productive player in the league. Now, Javon's only in his second year, and I thought last year he made really good strides as the year went on. So pad level is always going to be something that he has to work through. And today, obviously, is a small sample size. You give him 4 quarters. The war of attrition, maybe, having to deal with a guy as big as Javon Dexter every play is eventually going to get you. But, yes, early on today, he wasn't getting it done, and we've seen a lot of it at training camp, but we didn't get a chance to see it today.
Gary's in the chat referencing DeForest Buckner, right? And that's a good comp for him because DeForest Buckner is also tall. He's also played in this defense and been very, very productive. I still got a ton of faith in Javon Dexter. I love the trace that he brings. He didn't bring it today. He's got to do better.
Keep on giving him a ton of reps in the preseason, kind of like they did with Austin Booker. Had a huge day today. We'll get to Book in a little bit, but Gregory, why don't you give us your best and worst?
Yeah, my best starts where I started on the pregame show, which when I said what was most important heading into the day, no false starts. There were so many things I could have listed on what was important. Obviously, Caleb having a great day, all these different players, but the worst thing we've seen at camp, the biggest flaw we've seen at camp is the false starts. I mean, they are every day, too early, too often. And today, no false starts from the first team. I don't even know if there was
on the pregame.
Yeah. I don't even know if there was false starts from the offense at all throughout the game. Gary's going to have to help me out with that because obviously we are doing so many different things. But the first team was clean in their operation.
There was one false start.
They had one false start.
Yeah, that was on the botched pitch to Valus Jones Jr.
Okay,
that's right.
Thank you,
that's
Steven.
Right.
And so, but at the end of the day, the first team was clean. They're going through some different guys, obviously playing with the third-string right guard at the moment, but the rest of them have been there. So, they needed that clean operation for those 2 drives to help Caleb set himself up for success as well. So, to me, that was my best. 2 games in a row now that the false starts haven't been as much of an issue as we're seeing at practice. So that's good. That's good. Learn from your mistakes at practice, execute during the games. My worst, I wanted to go to this at some point, and to me, the 2nd and 1 in the red zone, we broke down the 2 drives to start the show, and I didn't want to harp on it during the Caleb Lovefest segment, but you get into the red zone, Caleb makes an amazing, 3rd and 13, gets you down on the swift into the red zone. You have an opportunity to give him a touchdown opportunity. And when it's 2nd and 1, I don't have as much of an issue at 3rd and 1, but 2nd and 1 is one of those downs that to me, I want to see an aggressive offense attack because you have that 3rd down in your pocket. You got to be able to trust that your quarterback isn't going to take a sack there. Give him a play action read. Give him something up the seam with the tight end. To me, if I wanted to nitpick that moment, 2nd and 1, it just felt too safe, and give your quarterback an opportunity to make a play there. I get it's a long season to go, and you don't want to show your plays, although they showed 20 plays today from their first team. So, it's not like you shouldn't be afraid to make a play like, now we can't use that one in the regular season. And to me, if I had to nitpick the 2nd and 1 call, I would have had Caleb Williams throwing on the move, play action, find something, where he gets an easy throw for a touchdown.
And that's after the DeAndre Swift play, right?
Yep.
Right. I like to, go for the juggler in those situations, man. I look at those big plays like that, same way I look at it like a turnover. It's sudden change. You got the defense on their heels. Like, let's go. I would have attacked them on 1st down. I said that. You was like, no, wait to 2nd down. And then they got the 8-9 yard run from Khalil. You're like, now you go play action here. They still didn't do it there, and they end up, having to settle for 3.
You get the whole playbook at your disposal at 2nd and 1.
No, you do, for sure.
You get that's fine.
You see, like Aaron Rodgers and all that.
Right.
Once they get you on, it's kill time. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. I like to see more aggression. Now it's preseason. That may be the reason for it.
He made all of his throws on 3rd and long. You know what I mean? Like, give it 2nd and 1.
That's easy work.
Give him something, let him eat. But long season to go, but I'll keep my eye on it. You chose to run there. You played it conservative for 3 straight downs once you got in the red zone. Yeah. But in the season, I want to see an aggressive mentality.
No doubt.
So, and I can jump off on my best and worst from there because, and I'll start with my worst because it wasn't necessarily, and I completely agree with you, Greg. I would have loved to have seen him go for it there, but I'm looking at the targets today. Tyler Scott, Keenan Allen neither of them saw the football, and Rome Odunze was targeted once, didn't have a catch. So if I'm looking at my wars, just as far as spreading it around, getting guys that I'd like to see get catches, love to see the connection with Keenan start to build, obviously with the rookie Rome, and I'm looking for some growth with Tyler as well. So those three guys not getting the ball today.
Almost the opposite of what we've seen at camp, though. Like, Cole hasn't been seeing the ball much at camp.
It's true.
Today he does, and those other guys you're mentioning have been getting the ball a ton at camp. Today they didn't.
Absolutely. But so I was a little bummed on that. It's hard to find a worse today for the record. I mean, it's
only one football at the end of the day.
You want to keep DCs up at night all week long. Like, do I double 2? Do I double 13? Do I got to worry about 15? What about 85? Like, you figure this thing out. You want to keep DCs up all week long. So,
and when they interviewed Keenan, I really enjoyed his. Like, man, I hope they can keep him for 2 or 3 years here.
Man, if this is what over the hill looks like, I can't wait to get over the hill because that dude looks young and spry and he's balling
like Carman.
Yeah. And
just like Carman.
Yeah, and KQ, I get it. He only had 7 throws. I got it. So, and I also just said KQ that, like, hey, I got to struggle to find a best and worst. I just would like to see those guys get the ball. And I wouldn't have minded, hey, I mean, Tyson Bagent could throw the ball to Tyler Scott. He could throw the ball to Rome Odunze too, so it's not just 7 throws. But my best, I'm going to split it. I first off, we mentioned it earlier, shout out to DJ Moore, who does not need to be fighting for yards in the preseason, but that's just the dude that he is, which is why the Bears – A, traded for him, B, extended him, C, made him the face of their schedule release, D, anytime they get to put that guy in front of anywhere, they're comfortable doing it because he's just the dude that you want on your team.
Highest paid player in Bears history.
Right. And he's bonding with Keenan and that whole little nice little moment on TV. Like, just DJ Moore is just a credit to the organization. He's beloved in that locker room, and here he is in the preseason fighting for yards. That is just – I just underline who he is. But – I'm also going to shout out a guy who sat right here on the show, Austin Booker. You, sir, had a day. He's been talking a lot of, big-time confidence in himself. It's like, well, okay, that's sweet, but we got to see it. We saw it today. 2.5 sacks and, a couple tackles for loss in there, the whole thing. But it wasn't even just, and the production's got to be there, but it was the moves that he was showing. This dude has variance, Herb.
Hey, he took a step up the field inside on one play. Great spin move to the outside. Pressure. I don't know if he got a hit. Didn't get the sack there, but that we were all like, yo, did you see that move right there? It was flawless. It was smooth. It wasn't like kind of like didn't look rough. It was just step up the field to the inside, spin back outside, left left tackle sitting out there by itself.
Elite freaking athlete.
Nah.
And that stuff, it also shows that you are working long and hard on your footwork to be able to do that stuff and have some natural feel to it. It was impressive.
I talked to him in the locker room. My bad.
No, you're good.
I talked to him in the locker room last week after the game at the Hall of Fame against the Texans, and he was like, listen, I thought I did good. He's like, obviously I wanted to get a sack. It didn't happen. He said, but I thought I did good in terms of setting the edge in the run games. Like, a lot of people don't think I can do that at this level because I'm a small defensive end, but he's like, I'm able to use my long arm to kind of set that edge. Yep. And then we talked about his ability to come up with the counter move. We know he's got the speed. We know he's got the bendability. What are the counter moves? Well, we saw a couple of them today. We saw him using his hands, and we saw just the motor. One of those sacks that last sack was just an effort sack. Just like, I'm going to keep rushing. If it takes 4, 5, 6 seconds, I'm still coming, and you still got to deal with me. So, very, very impressive game from him. The Bears need it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what I like. So he had some really nice plays in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But if you belong in the NFL, you should be making plays in the fourth quarter of a first preseason game.
Those second and third guys couldn't deal with them.
Right. I mean, by the time you're in the fourth quarter, those are third string dudes. Right?
Those are future colleagues of of whoever.
Exactly. Right. And so at the end of the day, though, he made plays on them. Because, like, once you see guys, that are starting to get bumped off the roster play in those quarters and they don't make plays, that's much worse. So he's an ascending rookie. Early in the game, he had back-to-back plays where he was creating pressure. And then, he comes – what I like is the pursuit stuff.
Yep.
The effort, not giving up on a play, coming back on the backside of a run and going and running a guy down. I've seen him at camp more than a few times get to the sideline on a long run, and he's one of the first guys chasing the running back down. So that's that hits philosophy that you want to see, from your rookie defensive end. So, couple sacks today. It's great progress. Hopefully he starts to see, as Gary pointed out in the chat, more reps against some of the more legitimate NFL talent that he's going to go up against.
And again, this is no Montez Sweat on the field.
Right.
So when Montez Sweat's on the field, it leans even further because he's going to face the double teams. You're going to get a lot of more one-on-ones in there. And what are you asking of Austin Booker? You aren't asking him to come in and be your 3-down defensive end. We're not asking him to say, stop the run on first and second down, then we'll get the pass on third down. We're just saying, hey, come in here when we kick DeMarcus inside and be able to bring some consistent pressure. Today, he showed the traits that should allow him to be one of the 7-8 guys that you need in rotation in today's NFL.
And he had the one sack where literally no one blocked him. So if he has that happen 17 more times,
he's going to get 100
season,
sacks.
Then look out, NFL.
We all silly like the mayor.